Welcome back.
Welcome to the TAE Time Podcast.
How you been? Long time.
Time, whatever, scene, blah, de, blah, de, blah. Yeah, anyway, more of the story is we got new mic stands.
It's pretty cool.
Part of a business expense that was only expensed by Farouk. But okay. Anyway,
I paid towards other stuff.
Anyway, as I was already saying, this was something that we wanted to do for a bit. Get some more like hard top mic stands, something that sits firmly on the table, not the 3-legged ones. But also at the same time, I still need to go get those cushioner things because Nicoleta loves to fucking toss, smash, flip, slap, spit on the mics, So I need
I'm treating it like one of those like bop it.
Yeah, so I need to
things.
get something that's a little bit more soundproof and for that. But this isn't too bad, and she can she keeps going douche on the table, fucking.
But like, how am I meant to read stories like
Randy
this?
Orton,
Like that?
she smacks her hands on the table.
I don't.
She thinks she's in WWE, So, that's why I need to go do that, and this helps a bit. But anyway, what you got for us today?
I just wanted to talk a little bit about my birthday.
Oh, really?
Because it was my birthday, and now I'm old.
She is.
And it was a lot of fun. And we went to see Burna Boy live. And we paid €100. Even though people paid only 40.
Yep.
Well, you bought it for me.
I paid. Once again, I think you guys see the trend here.
Anyways, it was good. It was so good. I had so much fun with my friends. And I think the last time that we started this last week's episode, we were talking about the Black and Irish event, and we did go to that, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, shout out to those.
Yeah, met a lot of people, so that was good. In case anyone cared or wanted a little update, you might have seen our little photo. If you follow us, you would know.
On the TAE Time Podcast, IG, Instagram.
So, yeah, that's what we've been up to since last time we spoke. But, on to today's topic, okay? I guess you're wondering, I know you're dying to know, but this week we wanted to dedicate to the new you, the new and improved you. I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to use some clickbaity title.
I need to improve you.
Obviously, January's coming up, and I know a lot of people, decide to set goals for themselves, which is really good, or whether it be fitness or school or whatever it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, everyone sets different. I actually don't set New Year's resolutions. So I'm just like, fuck that shit. There's no point in doing that. And obviously, if you do it, no hate, no foul, whatever, do you do you. And I know it's handy for some people to have those set goals and doing whatever. The only goals I always have is I want more money. All every day, all every year, every waking second of my life.
Okay, well, anyways, in the new year, I've set a good few goals for the podcast. We have talked about this before. He's been somewhat involved. But about, growing and what to bring to you guys. And there's going to be a lot more focus that we're going to put on the pod. But back to you.
Despite the fact that you don't pay us.
Yeah, despite that. We care. We care so much. We care so much that we are dedicating this episode to the new you in terms of fitness, actually. And before we get started, obviously, disclaimer, we are not fitness experts. We're not qualified to be giving advice. Just putting that before the episode starts.
It's just for shits and gigs, motherfuckers.
Exactly. So today, I put up a little question box on Instagram, and some of you guys had some questions regarding fitness. So,
the whole three of you.
The whole three of you. I see y'all. Yeah, we'll answer those, and then I do have a couple of other questions that I picked up, and then I have some people who are asking for some advice on r/fitness. So let's get started with what you guys sent in, okay? And number one question was, how can I not become bored when I start? I always start and then eventually get bored.
it's not meant to be exciting. You're meant to just do it because you're meant you need to do it. No, it's obviously it's one of those things. It's like anything in life. You're never like good at it from the get go, so it's very easy for you to get bored of it because you're like seeing no progress. You're not seeing anything. But like, it's the key thing is you need to stay consistent, and that's probably a consistent theme. You're gonna hear throughout the episode is consistency is key. But if you want to try help yourself, maybe do like incorporate things you enjoy, right? So like, let's say you're just trying to lose weight. Okay, let's take for example, you're trying to lose weight, so on and so forth. And you're not even trying to build muscle, you're just trying to lose weight. And you're like, I don't really care about weights. I just want to lose weight. Like, you know, increase my cardio, something like that. And you're like, oh, I go on the treadmill all the time. I just get bored after a few weeks. Maybe don't do the treadmill, right? Maybe you can have the treadmill in like X amount of times a week, but like for most of the time, try to see if you can maybe do like a sport you like, or maybe try see if there's some other things you might be interested that you might be able to do in the gym in your facility. Or either a good thing as well is like try and incorporate other things, kind of like maybe HIIT workouts, like, you know, where you do multiple different things. It little brings a little bit of excitement, and like you can then track, be like, okay, can I do better this week than last week? And skipping, stuff like that, you know, you can learn how to do better, like, you know, box skipping, all that stuff, all these things. I feel like doing all those kind of small things will like make it a little bit more exciting for you than just be on the treadmill.
I'm very on the skipping part. I think I might pick that up because it helps a lot. It's so much harder than I thought. Obviously, as a kid, I was skipping all the time. I didn't really care. I was just doing it for ages. And, you know, we used to play games, but it's a lot harder these days.
Yeah, skipping is cardio, like.
Yeah.
And she says this because I skip. I've been the skipper,
I used to
cardio-wise in
skip
our
at
relationship.
one point, and then I stopped again.
I skipped even before she did that. I skipped before that. So because like some might know I used to do kickboxing and boxing. So like, you know, skipping is a big part of that, you know, to get your feet work.
Why is that?
Footwork.
Just for footwork?
For footwork is very, well, one, cardio, and also footwork is, you know, very important. So like skipping is a very big part of that, and obviously like those things, and it's fun. I do generally enjoy it. Like, you know, you're skipping normally, then you switch your stance, you know, stuff like that. You see how long you can skip for. Like maybe you try to go for a repetition. Like let's say like a good thing actually when I first started skipping, I used to always do is like, let me try to go for 50 skips. Like, once again, right now, you're sitting there on your couch being like, I can do 50 skips. I'll tell you right now, you probably can't do 50 skips in a row. Not as in like it's hard, as in you will probably mess up somewhere between the 25 to 50 mark, and you're going to have to restart, right? And so, but when you restart, you can't just continue. You have to start from zero again.
If you're just starting skipping, aim for 20.
It's no. I'm just saying, it's a fun challenge. Like,
yeah, no, obviously, but I think if you can't do it consistent, like 50 in a row, don't beat yourself down over it. You know, don't make it like
that's a challenge.
No, don't beat yourself down. And I think skipping is a really like affordable sport that you can pick up in terms of cardio. Instead of paying for a gym membership or whatever. You can skip in your back garden.
Even if you don't have a garden, you can probably skip in your house. If you can't skip in your house, you can skip outside,
somewhere, anywhere, in a park, whatever, doesn't matter. I think if you are a treadmill babe or a Stairmaster babe, I don't have a Stairmaster. I used to be a Stairmaster babe, but if you are a treadmill, what's it called? Treadmill. What I usually do is,
or elliptical baby,
whatever, you know, machine type you're into. What I found really useful is just having episodes of a particular show. You know, specifically, I can only watch it while I'm on the treadmill, and then I can easily just bang out 40 minutes of, you know, walking, fast walking, running, whatever it is, just because I'm invested in what's happening on my phone instead of thinking about the pain I'm going through. Because sometimes with music, I find I get a little bit distracted, and I just look at the seconds counting down. And
you're like, oh my god, how long do I have left for this round? Blah blah blah.
Like,
but if you just have something like you can concentrate on, it's not as bad.
Yeah, and then with weightlifting, I think incorporate exercises that you do like.
Calisthenics, I'll say right now, just do calisthenics. If you like want to do weights, like do whatever, but you don't want to do weights like that, and you want to get a good body. That wasn't the question. No. I'm saying like in relation to boredom, right?
Okay.
Calisthenics is definitely a lot more fun than pushing weights. Like, some people just find pushing weights mundane, but calisthenics is enjoyable, because the thing about calisthenics is the better you get at it, the more cool shit you can do, and the more invested you get. And also the good thing about calisthenics is that there's a physical raw output you get from it, right? Like you literally can then like do push-up, clapping push-ups. You can do arch like pull-ups, all these other stuff, and like those are little variations that will keep you invested and little things. And then you can also see that strength, like being able to lift yourself up in certain ways, do handstands, like all these other things. And I feel like that's for most people, it's probably a lot more like exciting than, because like the reality about weights is like, it's only cool when you're like, oh, my bench is increased or this, but it takes a long time for that. Whereas calisthenics is a very fast, rapid, exciting thing.
Yeah.
Wise.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I don't think it's something I would ever do. But it is, he has a good point. I think for me, this is not a very good advice. But what motivates me or like, gets me out of my, I'm bored of this, is buying like gym wear or gym equipment or like small little things that would make me happy to go and use in the gym, if that makes sense. So if I were buying leggings or a new sports bra, and that kind of triggers my brain to be like, oh, I can't wait to go wear it, and that lasts for a little bit, it does last for a little bit.
How about if it's only for a week, then you have to go and buy new gym gear every week?
No, absolutely
gym gear is
not.
Very expensive, ladies and gentlemen. Very expensive.
No, absolutely not. And then, there's that, or if you buy a new gym, like, the knee sleeves or whatever it is. Knee wraps, whatever it is, just small little things. That might not be something that motivates other people, by the way. Like, I'd buy a Penny's t-shirt. I'm like, I can't wait to wear this in the gym.
Look at me, money.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, the next question we have is, I'm a girl and scared to start in case I look stupid or someone is judging me.
Why the fuck do you care? That's why I always say to everyone, don't give a fuck. Because let's be honest, and it's like that, damn, I can't remember his name, Joey Swoles, that guy on TikTok who's like, be good to everyone in the gym. Anyway, moral of the story is the people who are good won't give a shit.
Yeah.
Majority of people, like I will say this now, majority of people in the gym don't give a shit about you. They're there to get in their workout and get the fuck out. Yeah. Right? And then there's some good ones who are like, oh, they're actually like, oh my God, like, take it up. If they're looking at you, they're maybe being like, oh, this person's actually really trying, kudos or something like that, right? Like positive energy. And the ones that are dickheads are just dickheads. They're just gonna be dickheads.
Yeah.
And they will always be dickheads. So don't give a shit about them. Let's be honest. Fuck what they think. If they want to shit on you, do whatever. You're trying your best. You're working out. You're doing this for you. Fuck them. And just do what makes you happy, honestly.
Yeah. But I understand the fear because I was there.
Yeah, she was. I had to drag this girl into the gym, bro.
But I think my main issue was that I started off going to the gym in a university gym, and it was quite small at the time. It's a lot bigger now, but it was a lot smaller, and it was filled with gym bros, right? And starting off, I felt like I just looked like an idiot, so I would just kind of go to a little corner and do my 1-2 exercises and then leave. But I found that kind of helped me just to go and look around and see where machines are and see what's up, to
a little bit of scouting,
just a little bit, and then the more I went, the more I looked at other people, how they use the machine, so I don't feel like an idiot when I'm using it, because I've seen someone do it already. So
you also shouldn't on that note, you shouldn't be shy to ask people, hey, how does this work? No normal person is gonna be like, you don't know how this works. No, they're gonna be like, yo, oh, no worries. This is you do like this is how it works. Imagine if someone's like that, they're just think about how their life must be, that they take enjoyment out of that. How sad it must be that that's the only piece of enjoyment they get. Shit on you because you don't know how to use a piece of equipment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Or if you want to start off going with a friend or even a guy friend who can help out a little bit at the start, I found it really helped me. And I actually, funny story, I went with one of my girlfriends at the start, and we always had gym bros waiting in line because like I said, the gym was pretty small, and they would be like, oh, we have to wait for them as well, or just kind of nasty comments that were just so stupid looking back at it. Like, thankfully we didn't let it get to us, but I can see how you could let it get to you.
Like, it can definitely get to people, you know?
Yeah, because they're almost looking at you like you're taking up the machine when you shouldn't be, and you're waste of space or whatever. And that's just not the case. You're entitled to the gym just as much as every single person in there. So go in there, do your thing, and fuck what anyone says. But like Farouk said, though, if the guys who are big and know what they're doing will never care, because when, you know, our home gym, there's the biggest guys there ever, and I nobody ever blinks at me.
No, they don't give a fuck.
You know?
Like, as I said, like, I think people don't really, I think a lot of people are like, oh my God, everyone who goes to the gym is very judgmental. Like, because, you know, they care so much about their physique, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But like realistically in the gym, no one gives a fuck about you.
Yeah.
Like, they're in there to get their shit done and get the fuck out. You know, they're like, they're focusing. They're like, yo, fucking, if most of the time you're thinking about, man, I need to fucking muster some energy so I can push this fucking weight for my next set, you know, and stuff like that. You know, like, way more focus on that than judging you. Trust me on that.
I
like,
agree.
you know, and people are more than happy to help other people. Like, because let's be honest, everyone knows how it's like. You have to remember, everyone who's in the gym that's big, look like has the desired body, whatever, they started from somewhere too. You know, they had to learn from someone or whatever, and then they eventually got to it, so they know what it's like, you know, so they'll be more than willing to help you.
Absolutely. And if this is of any comfort, the kind of shit talking doesn't really stop at any point. I like to use a barbell for my hip thrusts. And in my old gym, I set this up, and this was only a few months ago, and a girl came up to me and was like, there's a machine for this. And I'm like, great.
Good for you.
I know there is. I see it every day that I'm in here. I just don't like using it. But don't feel like you have to explain yourself to anyone or whatever. This is just proving that there's always going to be dickheads in the gym who will say
just like
things to you.
Dickheads anywhere in life.
Exactly.
That will say shit to you.
Exactly. Or who will know that, oh, they know so much more than you, or whatever.
Did you know that stocks work this way? Blah, 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 blah. This is why we can't print more money. Those guys, they're everywhere.
Fair. On to the next question. This from our girl. How to grow calves. Pay for my calf implants.
Hey, wagwan. I'll take this. Nicoleta has no right to take this because she was blessed with genetically good calves. But I'll have you know, they're not that good anymore. But anyway, as I was saying,
I beg to differ.
As I was saying, I was cursed with genetically small calves initially as well. And calves are notoriously, definitely not even probably, them and forearms are notoriously the hardest muscles to grow. Why? Because one, there's a genetic limit on how much they can be, and two, they're used so much. Think about it. Every time you stand, every time you walk, every time you do whatever, everything, you're always using your calves. The same with legs, kind of thing. They're already constantly under pressure, and you know, and that's why it's like, you have to overload them. You need to really, like, the whole point of the way you grow muscle is like a muscle fatigues, tears, protein, blah, blah, repairs, gets bigger, right? But how are you meant to tear something like when it's constantly being used? You have to overload your calves. You literally, like, what I was doing was I was going to gym 6 days a week already, and every single day, I did calves. I did 4 sets of calves, and not just like, oh, you put a little bit of weight and you go, no. Like, obviously, don't just go straight into heavyweight, please. Like, progressively increase, you know? But, like, you literally just keep putting on weight, keep fucking doing a bunch, and keep doing it for ages, and just keep doing it. Literally, those little bits that you do, at first, you're like, oh, my God, they're not good. But eventually, after a while, the fruits of your labor will show, and your calves will be a lot better.
Yeah, don't take advice from him. He doesn't have calves. But take advice from me. Just kidding.
She doesn't even train calves. I
do. No, I do. To be fair, I do.
How often?
Once a week.
Yeah, once. Don't listen to her.
Once or twice.
She's not the person.
Once or twice a week. But here's the thing. I don't train calf as much because, like Farouk said, genetically, I wasn't too bothered about it. They were just kind of suited my frame, and I'm like, I'm happy with that. But I will say that when I did start training, I definitely didn't train them as hard as I should have. And Free kind of pointed this out, that the weight I was doing wasn't enough. Yes, it was sore. It was pretty heavy to lift, but it was nowhere near the capacity that, like my max at all.
Yeah.
And so it's important to know that calves, like you said, it takes a lot. You need to really go heavy on them.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can use the leg press, so that's a little bit of a safer kind of option, or seating leg press, or whatever you want to use. On to the next question. This is also a question for you more than anything. For bulking, do you need a decent amount of carbs and high protein?
Yes.
So let's talk about your bulking journey and what it takes.
It takes a lot of fucking eating is what it takes. So like they're kind of like two stages, I feel, right? So there's I'm going to take this from the perspective of what I went through and what I would assume most people in that situation is a skinny boy trying to get big, right? Like when you're skinny, especially if you're a skinny person who already eats a lot, you think you eat a lot, but you actually don't eat as much as you think you do. Like, don't get me wrong. It's like your normal eating level is already probably double what the normal person eats. But because your body is used to that, you need to eat even more than that for you to gain weight, right? And that's why like calorie tracking is good, but you don't even if you don't want to calorie track, a great thing to do is just eat a fuck ton of carbs and a fuck ton of protein. Like for me, when I was 50 kg, when I was like, was it 17, 18, I was around that age, whatever, I was like 50 kg scrawny, And so literally I was eating a fuck ton already, and I was like, oh my God, I'm finding it hard to gain weight. I literally started just eating a fuck ton of rice and just protein. And don't get me wrong, like you can eat whatever you want. I just really enjoy rice. I'm Nigerian, obviously. I really fucking love rice. So I just eat a lot more rice and meat. Like I was eating, I think there was a point in college when I first took bulking seriously. I was eating about 6 to 8 meals a day, and not like the small meals, big meals a day. And I was
and they were all rices too.
Like I was scarfing it down. I was eating like a motherfucker. So I was eating a bunch of carbs, a bunch of protein. And obviously you can do without just carbs and protein, but this is just what suited me, right?
But did you find that even though you ate that much, but because you also went to the gym and you were sweating buckets, you had to eat even more?
Yeah, absolutely. Because when I was in college, I was doing a bunch of exercises. Not only was I doing a bunch of cardio stuff, I was doing sports and stuff like that. So I was already burning a lot of calories on top of my high metabolism. So obviously I had to eat a lot more than a normal person would if they wanted to bulk. But you just eat a lot, kind of use a caloric calculator, find out what your bulking would be, and make sure you're hitting that minimum. Make sure you're hitting it every single day, and eventually start putting. Because I jumped from I think around that point, I was maybe around 55 to 60. I jumped from that to 70 something, 10, 15 kg I put on, and it was different. And then there's that part. And then you get to a point where you eventually get a certain level of muscle and you're whatever, and now you're bigger. And it's more about tactically how you bulk, you then need to focus a lot more on your protein than you do on your carbs. It's not just eating anything, because you're just trying to get the most out of all your nutritions and everything like that. And it definitely, you eat a lot, but you find that you might not need as much calories as you did before, but still need a lot. My last bulk, I was around, I think it was around 4,000, so somewhere between 3,500 to 4,000 calories a day. That's what I was eating to gain weight to get to 100 kg. Right now I'm sitting happy at 90, but when I was trying to get to 100, I was eating 3,500 to 4,000, even 4,000. Someday I was eating 4,002, 4,003.
Yeah. And you're a chunky boy.
I was chunky. I was trying to get to 100 kg. I was chunky. I went from 85 to 100, and deep that I felt heavy. But so kind of those things, kind of focus on these things. Make sure you eat well. Make sure your nutrition is right. Obviously, I would advise people to track. You don't have to track super religiously, but just track and make sure you're eating a lot. The best thing, the way I would say is kind of try maybe track for 2 weeks to a month, just to get a baseline of I need to eat this much food to hit this much calories, and then eventually you'll just intrinsically know if you're hitting it or not,
Or if you don't want to do that and you want to just start off by just eating more, and if you don't notice a difference, take out the weighing scales and start tracking, because if you're not noticing a difference, there's something wrong.
Or either what you should do then is make sure you're eating them. If you don't want to track, eat the meals are the same size, but increase the number of meals you're eating. So like, let's say before you're eating 3 square meals and they were all big, eat 5 or 6 instead. But make sure it's still the same size consistently. Then that way, without even tracking, you're automatically probably putting on weight anyway.
Yeah, that's some really good points. Me personally, I don't have an issue with bulking. I think I put on weight quite fast. I never really struggled.
Must be nice.
Yeah, I never really struggled. Losing weight, however, I don't really struggle with that either, but I think it's just like, oh, I have to put in work to do this. But I think bulking would be harder than cutting down. On to the next question. The weight I lift has stalled. How do I push past there, or what can I do?
Plateau, the great plateau.
The great plateau.
So like plateauing is the thing that's why like progressive overload is good. Like you need to track your numbers, because
I think there was a person in one of the stories I was reading that was saying that they've done everything they could with progressive overload.
Yeah.
So how do you...
Volume. It's a volume game. So that's the thing. Like, volume is sets times rep times weight, right? So like, if you're doing 3 sets of 10 reps of 100 kg, like, you do the math, quick math, easy, bloody blah. So like, and that's your volume. Or either, like, if they're different rep ranges, then just, multiply your reps by your weight and then add up by the number of sets, so on and so forth. Anyway, track your volume. Like, let's say you're doing your bench and you're trying to increase your bench. Track your volume. And then one thing, actually, this is actually good advice that someone who is a licensed professional, that was my friend in the gym, gave me, is like, stop trying to do the weight that you're doing and go down in weight and just do a fuck ton more reps, right? As in more than you could even do, and kind of do each one till failure. Because then essentially once you go down in weight and you really tire yourself out like that, your muscles are just going to get stronger intrinsically anyway. So that by the time you go back up to the weight you were at, you actually find that your strength has increased and you're like, wow, this is not as heavy as it used to be for me, right? Because like what usually tends to happen is people, like, let's say you're like 100 kg and you're doing it for like 5 reps for like 3 sets consistent. You can never just break past that 5 reps, or anytime you put on more, it like drastically. Then just go down to like maybe 90, right? And just try to maybe get 90 to 10 reps. And when you get 90 to 10 reps, the moment you go back to 100, you're going to be like, whoa, there's a difference here. This feels way lighter, because the thing is, you're just constantly pushing against a wall and you weren't really getting the most out of it because you were just consistently just staying the same. So that's why it's a numbers game. You need to increase your volume, right? So if you do more reps of 90, your volume is greater than doing less reps of 100. And because you're doing more volume, your strength will increase, that by the time you get to 100, bada bing, bada boom, your plateau is gone.
Yeah. What I found like helped me as well as that, I think, is going back to, the basics of like low weight and working on my form a lot more, because a lot of the times I'd be struggling to lift whatever weight I'm trying to lift, and maybe my form is wrong. Maybe I could push it a lot easier if my, form was a little bit different. And what really helped with this was recording myself and just seeing what it looks like, because you might think you're doing it fine, even if you're doing it in the mirror, but you're not getting the side angle or, from behind or whatever. So, I recorded myself, went back to basics, or, like you said, with calisthenics or mobility work. I find that really helps when you're trying to increase the weight that you're pushing.
I would say mobility is also a big thing, because sometimes it's your mobility hindering you from pushing the weight. Yeah. Like, let's say you have a tight shoulder and you're trying to bench, and your shoulder, and because your shoulder is tight, it struggles on heavier weights. But if you have a lot more, like, if you have a lot more mobility in your shoulders, it's not going to hold you back. So like, and also that's also another thing of like, maybe the reason you're not getting progress in a certain thing is because another part of your body is lacking. Maybe the reason you can't bench as much is because your triceps are getting too tired, or so on and so forth. Try to figure out where you could be lacking and fix those points, and then you'll just notice everything else come together from there.
Target those, essentially. So this is a question that appeared in most Google fitness questions, and it's, how can I get a six-pack?
Okay, I'm not gonna give you the fucking straightforward answer that everyone gives you because that actually is the truth. There's the thing is there's a little bit more to it. Yes, everyone has abs, and all you have to do is be lean. I 100% agree, but you can be lean, and you can already have your ab muscles as everyone does, and you won't have. Because I know when people say, "How can I get a six pack?" They don't mean just the shape. They're talking about the certain like look and feel. You know, like the obliques, the everything, showing the vascular. You know, like everything, right? Mm-hmm. You're not gonna get that by just being lean. Mm-hmm. If you're ridiculously lean, you will have that, but you have to be ridiculously lean.
And let's be for real, most of us don't get there.
Yeah. What you want to do is build muscle overall, because by being more muscular, even your normal ab muscles will just increase because surprise, surprise, a lot of movements you do actually require you to use your abs, you know, and that's why it's also good to focus on your core strength. And as I just segued, core strength is key. Yeah. It is so like by training abs, and mostly like not just like everyone does abs, right? Focus on exercises that actually work on your core strength. Core strength is king, right? Like even like the ab roller is your friend. That extensions, leg raises, you know, kind of all these things, they work very well on your core strength. And by doing those, building up your ab muscle, building up everything, you're gonna have a lot more definition in your ab area. How about you? What do you think? You've been on the ab journey yourself.
I mean, I had abs before. Well, we all have abs.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I did have abs. I think you do have to be really lean, but I wasn't happy with how they were, because they were just kind of like the lean type of abs, because I wasn't really training them. But I think the only reason I had them, because I didn't train abs, was because I focused a lot on it when I was shoulder pressing, when I was, you know, throughout every single exercise, really,
squatting,
just every single thing. If you engage your core, that's, I think, the most important part, because it works it more than doing 500 crunches in a day. Mm-hmm. You know, that's just kind of not really going to get you where you think it's going to get you.
Exactly. You're just better off focusing core strength. Like there's so many, as I said, ab roller, leg raises, doing squats and making sure you focus on your core, doing pull-ups, focusing on your core, doing bench, focusing on your core, all those things, like maybe like tense, you know, like when you're doing pull-ups, tense your abs, make your abs tense as you're doing your pull-ups, you know, stuff like that. Focus on your core well, get that like mind muscle connection, and you'll actually see a much bigger difference. Because like there's a difference between being lean and having good core strength and being lean and just having no core strength. There is actually a slight difference with the way your abs would look.
Absolutely. And like after every single shoulder workout, my abs are on fire. Yeah. Because of that. I don't know why. I think it's just like pressing up and then like, yeah, I don't know why I did that. But the other thing is abs are definitely made in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. 100,000%. You need to be in a calorie deficit. You need to get your body fat really low. Yep. There's no questions.
No matter how good they look underneath, it won't matter if you don't get the fat off.
So, gotta get shreddy, girl. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, what exercises can I do for weight loss?
All of them. All of them.
Simple as.
No such thing as a targeted weight loss exercise. Actually, just lifting weights is okay. Lifting weights is technically better for actual weight loss than just doing mundane little bit of cardio, because after intense weight training, once again, intense weight training, not just weight training.
The operative word being
intense weight training, because of your body's doing so much, you actually still burn calories after your session. Yeah. You actually continue to burn, because the one thing about cardio is that you tend to only burn calories while you're doing cardio. But with weight training, because of how much you exert and then your muscles are fatigued and recovering and so on and so forth, you're actually still burning calories after weight training. So that's why it's good to just do an intense, like make a plan, make a proper routine, follow it, go hard at it, and you will you can literally feel it. You can literally feel like, damn, my body is still like, you know, feeling it from the gym, and that's you burning calories, like, you know.
Yeah, of course. And stay consistent with it. Don't have I need to lose weight in 6 weeks and then completely forget about it. That's just not how reality and life works. I'm sure it does in like a 6 week challenge or whatever, but make sure that afterwards you do keep up the good habits or whatever. And it doesn't necessarily mean that if you have a goal of 12 weeks, it doesn't mean eating rice and chicken and broccoli. You can enjoy your meals, and I think if you do enjoy your meals, you'll find you'll last a little bit longer in the journey. You'll probably start to like it a little bit more.
Absolutely.
And not hate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like it's easy to hate it.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna add anything.
No. I think she's perfectly right. Honestly, like there's nothing more to it. Like, keep those keys and just try stick to it as much as possible. Don't just be like, oh, I'm done.
Exactly. And then onto the last, point of the last bit of
our
fitness.
Little new year, new you.
Period. Okay. Hi, I'm 36. How do I beat genetics and get a bubble butt? I'm shaped like a refrigerator and fat. So far, I've been doing 2 sets of 10 glute bridges and single leg squats every day, as well as squats and walking lunges. I don't have access to weights. Should I take protein powder? How do I avoid getting turnip calves while doing squats?
This is Nicoleta's department. I'm not an expert here. My bum is not that bum-boing, as they say.
You have a cute little bum?
I have a little one. I do hip thrusts. I train my glutes, but nowhere as intensely as Nicoleta does. So, and she's actually genetically gifted with them, but she still wants them to be bigger. Not fair, ladies, I know, but it is what it is. So please, expert, tell us, give us your advice.
How to build a bubble butt. Be born with it. Period.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Look, even though you might not be, genetically gifted or whatever, I think you can still build it. And I've seen fruit go from pancake to a little something. Do you know what I mean? So it is possible. And I think even me, that my weight naturally kind of goes there. I'm not particularly happy with the shape of it or whatever. So that's why I'm training it hard, because I want it to look a specific way. I think the way she's going about it, training them every day and without a weight, is not going to get her too far. I think it's a good start, getting the movements down, because she's doing glute bridges, walking lunges, all the good leg workouts, whatever. It's a good start, but I think if you're at home, maybe try using whatever's in the house. Even during COVID, when we were using God knows what around the house as weight. But yeah, no, definitely the gym. I would say train booty maybe 3 times a week, maybe twice. So I wouldn't push to what's the limit in the weight that you push?
Your max?
Yeah, don't push your max. Sorry, Chris, I'm hungry. Don't push to your max 3 times a week. I wouldn't do that. I think twice a week is enough, because you need to recover from those intense sessions. But there's nothing wrong with training glutes, another 1 time a week. That's kind of more, less weight, a little bit more reps, because it's not affecting,
like more auxiliary, like focus on specific parts.
Yeah,
type of thing.
It's really not affecting the glutes as much as going to your max. So you can sneak that in there. If you want to do some glute bridges at home, you can do that, like whatever you want to do. But definitely train them hard. It's a big muscle group. It's bigger than you think it is. And like calves, it takes a lot. You need to do a lot for them. Yeah. So my favorites are hip thrusts, obviously, because you feel the burn. A lot. But even with them, I find I don't, go crazy, like to the point that I'm like, my back hurts or whatever. And if your back does hurt, because I've heard this a lot, bring yourself a little bit lower. I think a lot of people, the boxes that people use, it's way too high. So if you just bring it a little bit lower, even if you're on the ground, I think that helped me. And if you don't curve your back when you're going down, because that's painful.
It should be like a pendulum motion. Yeah.
Exactly. Do some variations, do some Bulgarian split squats. Personally, I don't really like them. You can do squats if you want as an alternative. Do your lunges, do whatever in between. Make sure they're activated. But yeah, train them harder than you think you're training them.
Absolutely agree. They just gotta work them, like everything, honestly. Just to like summarize, like everything in the gym, it's honestly just consistency and intensity. Those are the two key factors. Exactly. Be consistent, be intense about it, get the most out of it. Make sure you're eating well, sleeping well, recovering well.
Exactly.
All of that.
My only question is, what does she mean by turnip calves? I've never heard that term before.
I think she means like the big ones, the chunky ones.
She said, how do I not get?
Yeah, so she's trying to avoid.
She doesn't want that.
Yeah.
Why not? It's like when girls just train glutes but not quads or hamstring.
Even though they're like all part of like connected, and like if one is big, like unless you're genetically built that way, you know, because actually that's like probably the trend, you know, like nowadays to have like a small like thighs but then like a big butt, because you know it makes your butt look bigger. But like I don't know, I think it's nice if you have like a
chunky
big
watermelon
ass legs,
squashing.
Yeah, more like watermelon squashing thighs. Thunder thighs.
Yeah, and I think they look hot.
Yeah,
I think like really defined strong legs look really good. So
hope all our advice helps, you know. And obviously you heard it here. Nicoleta said if you do everything she told you, you're gonna have a big bubble despite your genetics. So if you don't have any in the next week after doing this exercise, you can call her out. She's liable. Thank you very much.
Hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and rate the episode if you're listening. Till next time.
Peace.